If you recognize this symbol, stick around. This one's for you. And even if you don't, stick around nonetheless. I'll explain it to you. Hey everyone, welcome to Open Mic with Janky. I'm your host Janky, and this is my podcast, 90's Fashion. Let's talk about that. What a time to have been there. I'm going to start off by naming you a bunch of different brands that's going to bring you back in time. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I remember that. I wore that. I had so much stuff. And I don't know why I didn't keep this stuff. I wish I kept more of my stuff. I have some of it, but barely anything. And that was really cool. But I got the memories that keep me going. So to list out the names of the brands that we wore back in the 90's, I know there was several brands. The ones I'm about to name is a lot hip hop related. That's what I was into. I was a huge hip hop fan. I still am, but for the old stuff, I'm still stuck in the 90's for music too. But nonetheless, a lot of the brands were more urban hip hop, and that's what I'm about to bring you back in time to. So let's go. FUBU, for us, by us. Damon John, who's now one of the investors on Shark Tank. Fat Farm. Yes, if you guessed it earlier, this is Fat Farm. Russell Simmons, the record executive, Def Jam Records. And then later on, his wife at the time, he's not his wife anymore, Kimora Lee Simmons, created Baby Fat, the cat symbol with the tail. Yeah, that was the times. Echo. It had a rhinoceros on it. Academics. Averex. I could just picture these big jackets on the guys, especially. If we're talking about sportswear, Fila running shoes, Champs. Then there's Coogee, the Notorious B.I.G., Timberland. Now, I don't know if I'm saying it wrong. Carl Kanai is the way I say it. I don't know if it's Carl Canny, but Carl Kanai. I remember I had a hat, the double K. Sean John. I know we're not supposed to mention that anymore, but we did rock it back in the day. Let's be real. The matching velour suits with the little Sean John written in there, that was a whole vibe. Rockaware. Jay-Z and Damon Dash. What I loved about back in the day is you didn't go to major chains. You went to independent stores to buy urban street hip hop wear, small little stores, and you found all the stuff you needed. 90's urban fashion, streetwear, hip hop fashion, whatever you want to call it, it was accessible and attainable to the everyday person. You didn't need to be a multi-millionaire to be able to buy and afford these clothes. No, what they were wearing in the music videos, what we saw, what they rapped about, what they talked about, the average everyday person is able to get that. Today, all they talk about is the Gucci's and the Pradas and the high-end luxury designers. Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean in the 90's they didn't wear that and they didn't talk about it. They certainly did. But a lot of the other stuff that we saw them wearing, the clothing that they made it for regular people. Nowadays, we can't just go out there and buy all these, luxury brands and talking about $2,000 t-shirts and all that. That's not accessible anymore to the average everyday person. Now that there's a disconnect. That's why I always say 90's was the best time to grow up in, especially for hip hop. Now, let me talk about some of the classic things we used to wear. Bandanas. That's one of the things I kept. Every color of the rainbow and more. Any color, name it, I have it. The bandanas, and I used to wear it as a headband or around my wrist or my ankle, just something matching to whatever your vibe was that day. Denim on denim. The bands on bands, right? Icky. Another thing my husband told me is guys always wore shorts underneath their jeans. I don't know if they still do that. Champion pants, the tearaways, the buttons. I went all the way from top to bottom. So all it took was someone to rip them and you knew to wear little shorts underneath just in case. If someone, tried to prank you or if you got caught in something. Bomber jackets, leather jackets. I know that's still a thing that people wear these days, but back then it was the norm. Everybody was wearing it. Overalls, but you had to have one strap off. That meant you were cool. Same for backpacks. You didn't wear your backpack like this. You gotta have one of them off, one shoulder. Cargo pants. Oh, Parasuco jeans. I have all kinds of Parasuco jeans with different bling and zippers and frilly things. Now let's talk about, I guess, the face. Makeup. Do you remember all the ladies? Dark lip liner with a light color lipstick underneath. I'm still a lip liner girl. I will never let that go. But it was like dark lip liner and a light lipstick underneath. You just had to do it. And then my husband told me for the guys, the thin chin lineups, not like the beards we see today, which is nice also, but like the thin, and they had the side fade going on. Colored contacts. This one I'm a little embarrassed to say, but colored contacts. And yes, I wore colored contacts. I would never do that today. I love my beautiful brown eyes. But back in the day, you wore those hazel, blue, green, whatever your eye color was not, you wore those color contacts. Now, most of us are out of that phase. How hip hop and urban fashion go hand in hand is what we saw, is what we wanted to mimic. When Aaliyah came out with Are You That Somebody, and she had not the two kind of pigtails, but she had three, you best believe I did that. And then that greenish, purplish lipstick that she has, I went out to find it. Monica, the first night, the beige cargo pants with the white t-shirt, but it wasn't a t-shirt. It was like just like right here. Can't be like a t-shirt like down here. I'll have to be over here. And it wasn't a v-neck, wasn't a round neck. It was a square neck. I went out to find a square neck t-shirt. Maya, Best of Me, the blue jersey. I know all the guys were like, oh, yes, I remember that. Girls, too. We were like, a jersey dress? She took it to the next level when it came to women's fashion and mixing sports in there. Back then, we didn't need all this cosmetic surgery to make us look and feel good. We did that on our own. What I loved about the 90s, and this is my experience, is that you weren't looking for a certain body type. You know what I'm talking about today. Everything's got to be enhanced. Back then, it didn't matter. Obviously, you wanted to look good, but you didn't need all that extra stuff or people telling you how to look and feel according to your body size. It was what you wore, really. If you had a nice brand name t-shirt, something that made you feel good, a matching bandana, you felt like $1,000,000. There's probably so many things that I left out. Let me know in the comments. What do you remember? What do you miss about 90s fashion? Something that you used to wear that just brings you back in that time. That's all for today, guys. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next week.